standing in the middle of a barren wasteland.
Very good. Continue. What's happening?
The ground is as if smoking, as if
Mm-hmm.
something has just occurred.
Yes.
It smells like burnt carbon ozone.
Yes. Continue.
The sky is very dark,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and there's just no color.
Yes. And where are you? Are you standing on this barren land?
Yeah.
Yes. Look at your body. What do you look like there?
I'm not human.
Mm-hmm. What
Oh,
do you
I
look like?
am human.
Mm-hmm. You're humanoid.
Yeah.
Describe yourself for me.
My skin is like diamonds,
Mm-hmm. Yes. Shiny.
but shiny.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can see crystal rainbow refractions reflecting off of me, although it's very dulled because of the environment.
Yes. What else do you notice?
I'm wearing something that's very torn up, like it's been damaged by what's occurred.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I feel very weak, very tired.
Yes.
Like I have come to the end
Mm-hmm.
of
Yes. Tell me more.
something.
What is this end that you've come to?
It's the end of a planet.
Mm-hmm. Are you by yourself on that planet? Are there others like you?
There are some others that are remaining.
Yes.
It looks like, though, that we've come after the event rather than we were here during,
Yes.
as if we tried to mitigate the disaster.
Yes. Tell me about that.
There's just frustration amongst us because it's happened several times already within this solar system.
Yes. Yes. Continue.
The others are trying to find survivors whilst I am doing the planetary oversight
Mm-hmm.
as to what's affected the core of this planet. This is not the same solar system as we are in now, though.
Yes.
It's very reminiscent of what has happened here, though. But it's not here.
All right. So I'd like for you to go ahead and do what it is that you do when you go to a planet that has had this destruction. What is your role? What do you do?
My body is a light technology. I'm transporting into the planetary core and doing diagnostics.
Mm-hmm. How do you do the
Try
diagnostics? I want you to just focus on how it is that you actually do this with your body.
using the entire energetic system to tune in as if I connect my own body in with the planet.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And through sensory information, I receive downloads as to what mineral conditions, what are the morphogenic conditions, the atmospheric conditions, and also the energetic health of this celestial body.
Yes.
But it's going to need to be destroyed completely because there's nothing to salvage. There's only very toxic material that remains as byproducts of what has occurred.
Mm-hmm.
And these don't provide life. They don't support life, therefore they'll need to be It'll need to be recycled.
Yes. Are you speaking about the planet will need to be recycled?
Yes.
Yes.
The people will be recovered, though.
Yes. Are you able to tap into the not only the energy but the consciousness of this planet?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yes. So do you receive any information from the planet?
Just deep sorrow.
Deep sorrow. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And are you able to tap in to the consciousness of this planet to receive information of what happened to it from the planet's point of view?
Yeah.
Yes. Would you do that now? Would you tap in and just give feedback as to what it is the planet has experienced and seen?
There was a electromagnetic distortion on the masculine polarity. It was purposely fed a disruption through an aspect of its morphogenic field, which then became cannibalistic.
Mm.
And it affected the collective consciousness of the people on the planet.
Yes.
That then resulted in them destroying the planet as a whole.
Yes.
So unfortunately, it made the host race to this planet, of which was native, become anti-life, and it cannibalized not just themselves as a collective consciousness, but also the planet itself, destroying it from the outside in.
Yes. And what did the people of the planet use in order to destroy its own planet?
They used technologies of which they stole from others and had actually been given to them purposely. This is how they were infiltrated.
Yes.
They were given technologies that they didn't know how to use sufficiently and in balance with universal and natural laws.
Yes.
They then manipulated these for their own gain and therefore caused this disruption through the consciousness of the people.
Yeah, so this was a plan.
There was a plan, yes.
Yes.
It's like the technology was too electrically advanced, and therefore they didn't have the infrastructure to monitor it sufficiently. And as a result, we can literally see it's quite devastating, but some people, when they used this, they literally disintegrated as they were using some of these technologies.
Yeah, so they were pulverized.
Yes.
In a way.
They started to... They started to, in order to bypass this happenstance of them being pulverized or disintegrated by the technology, they started to install pieces of it into their organic bodies artificially so that they could use this technology. But of course, that was the distortion. It was contaminating them because it was infected with some technology and AI that those had given the weapons to these people had planted there purposely.
Yes. And what was the purpose for those that gave these people the technology? What was the purpose of them doing that to this planet?
They wanted to... It's been the planet showing as if whatever the explosive energy as a result of the cataclysm that resulted from the technology imploding upon itself as in one complete event, that energetic offset was used as fuel for these other beings.
I see.
That had parked literally on the outskirts in a satellite, like a moon basically, but
Yes.
just waiting patiently
Very
to
good.
collect that energy.
Did they collect the energy as it was happening or at one blast?
And it was a gradual
Mm-hmm.
it was a gradual collection, but yes, when the blast occurred, they just siphoned as much as they could and then left.
Very good. So now that we know the origin of how this became the way it is, let's find out a little bit about you and your team. I'm going to count from 1 to 3. And when I get to number 3, you'll return to the place in which you first find out about your mission to this planet. And this time you'll experience it with a lot of detail. 1, 2, and 3. Where are you when this all begins?
It's in a massive center for correspondence between. It's an intergalactic.
Yes.
No, it's an interdimensional council.
Interdimensional, yes.
It's a interdimensional free world council.
Yes.
That is not from. It's not in this universe.
Yes. And those that are part of this council, what types of beings are there?
They are all creators.
Mm-hmm.
They're not from this universe.
Mm-hmm.
They are from the creator worlds beyond this universe.
Yes. Yeah. Do they take any type of form?
Only when they have to descend into lower dimensional arrays, expanses, because they don't require form usually.
Very good. And are you part of this council?
Yes.
So tell me your role in this council. What do you do?
I am a delegate for the universe, designated as the one that we're speaking through now.
Yes. And how many are on this council with you? These creator beings?
In this collective, presently, there seems to be 12.
Mm-hmm. Is there a reason for that number 12?
Yes, because within all universes, 12 is the base number.
Mm-hmm. Is there some type of energy to that 12? A reason for 12?
Yes, because 12 is they refer to it as the atomic base number.
Yes.
And
Tell
the
me.
energy of it is 9 and 12. 12 specifically because it can be constructed to create life in all universes.
Yes.
It's not constrained by mathematics functioning within any particular universal structure.
Mm-hmm.
It can be multiplied infinitely to create more complex forms of consciousness and life. And it is often necessary to ensure neutrality within greater celestial or astronomical worlds.
Very good. And what is the 9?
The 9 is sacred to this universe.
Mm-hmm.
The 9 will usually be used as a base function for this universe.
For the universe of
because
Earth, where Earth is? Yes.
indeed,
Mm-hmm.
yes, and it's used similarly to 12, but this universe uses 9 specifically.
Very good. Does it hold a different energetic weight to it?
It's slightly denser
Mm-hmm.
than some other universes, but the density does not mean lower vibrational. It simply means measure of energy
All right.
and dimensionality. And because this universe is. This universe has to depend on 9 because there's been damage to the harmonic universe of 10, 11, and 12 dimensions in this universe. That's the memory from the planet.
Can you tell me more about that?
Within the harmonic universe of the 10th, 11th, and 12th dimensions, in order for certain beings to access to this universe, they've had to use that particular dimensional threshold because certain planets that oscillated within those dimensions held the cosmic gateway. And so, in order for them to access through to this universe, they actually infiltrated planets and solar systems that were oscillating within the 10th, 11th, and 12th dimensions. As
Mm-hmm.
a result, 9 has been reconfigured as the base mathematical atomic number for this universe so that universally structure would be assured for the entire cosmos.
Very good. So I'd like for you to go back to that council, the council of the 12, and we'd like to focus on that mission to that planet and how it is that it is affecting this soul.
Just frustration. This is nearly millions of planets that have been compromised.
Yes. Why are they being compromised? Who's doing this?
Beings that came from a collapsed universe that was itself cannibalized upon itself, that its cosmic heart, which is the source of all creation, was corrupted and they split off from it. Their connection to that source
Yes.
core was damaged, and so they have been going to other universes within the multiversal structure of this cosmos to propagate their own life force. And
Yes.
so in this particular universe, they came here through some of the gateways, the cosmic gateways within the 10th, 11th, and 12th dimensions, that planets and solar systems, which are responsible for ensuring the structure of those dimensions, coming through these, destroying them, and then freely accessing entire worlds and forms of life to further their own ends.
Yes. And what do they do when they access these forms of life?
They mutate and evolve themselves out from information, data, intelligence, consciousness
Yes.
that they harvest and collect for themselves. Yeah.
Very good. So I'd like for you to focus on the soul. And we started before by focusing on the word resistance. Rejection. I want you to follow those words now. Where did this all begin? Yes, where are you? Yes.
I am on Earth
Yes.
in this instance.
Yes.
It's a long time ago, though.
Yes. What is it? Where are you?
It's the same thing that's happened. It's just happening here.
Yes.
Except on a smaller scale, or at least to the extent that not all life has been completely annihilated.
Mm-hmm. Yes. What
But
year
enough.
is? What year is it that you're in? See the number in your mind now.
23,560 BCE.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And what's happening on this planet?
This is the electric war. It's basically an echo of what happened within the harmonic universe of the 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Yes.
It's the same thing. There's a lot of souls here that are experiencing what's happening, that were on that planet that are here now.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just experiencing the same repeat. And I'm just I'm so frustrated. I'm just so angry. But I'm laughing. I don't know why I'm laughing.
So why is it that it has to be repeated and these souls are coming back to repeat this?
Reciprocation of energy into completion, which is a universal law of cause and effect. They need to complete the same experience so their souls can integrate the trauma.
Yes.
It's essential, and I'm overseeing this here, but
Yes.
I'm just frustrated because it's the same thing.
Yes.
And I'm talking to my team.
Yes.
I'm talking to my team while it's happening as if I'm not really here, but I'm still here.
Yes.
It's like I'm conscious of what's occurring as a participant, but I'm not necessarily participating.
Yes.
As if I'm awake in the dream.
Do you need to be part of this experience yourself?
I am physically here. I have a
Yes.
body here at the same time, but the capacity is that I have a celestial aspect that is also not here that I'm connected to.
Very good. So notice what your body looks like on the planet now.
It's very tall.
Yes.
Very tall. Titanic is the word.
Yes. Are you the only one that's that tall, or
No,
all
there are
beings?
others.
Yes.
About 30% are quite in this state of being quite large and titanic.
Yes.
But there are other beings of different races, intergalactic races also here,
Mm-hmm.
with the predominance of humans also.
Yes. Do you look human?
Humanoid.
Mm-hmm. Describe yourself.
I look quite like, very much like the Olympian gods would have looked like if they were real, which we were.
Yes.
That's interesting.
So are you male or female in that body?
I am female in this body, but I am of a neutral balance between masculine and feminine. I don't quite feel feminine, but I'm female.
Very good. Very good. So let's play this out and see what happens.
I'm running towards a being that's 3 times my size.
Larger?
Yes, it looks like elemental energy has been given consciousness.
Yes.
It's like a massive storm cloud.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm using my connection to Gaia, to the core of this planet, to stabilize its elemental energy, and then I'm dispersing it back into the environment so that it doesn't cause harm, because the technology that's being used for this war is actually harnessing elemental energy for ill will.
How do they use that? What do they use this energy for?
They're using this energy to attack each other. They're literally trying to, there are different factions that are trying to, some have been infiltrated from off-world, some are actually come here to contribute in this war so as to, I guess, further pervert what's occurring.
Mm-hmm. So this elemental war, are we talking about air, water, fire, earth?
Indeed. But
so how do they use it? How do they harness that energy and use it in a war?
They're using electromagnetic weapons, directed energy weapons. So they're siphoning the energy from the planet that then some way manipulates it into literal weaponry.
Yes.
And we can see people using, it's annihilating people.
Yes.
And we can see parts of people, their consciousness being split from the body whilst this as it occurs.
Yes, and when it's being split, where do the parts go?
Nowhere, it's stuck here.
Okay.
There's fragments everywhere, and this is my frustration.
Yes.
Because there's no team here. There's no the same team that we had, I remember, on that other planet. That's why we were there, as a reconnaissance, was to ensure that any remnants were recovered before the planet was sufficiently recycled. No, there's nothing here to ensure that. And so I am in between a rock and a hard place.
Yes.
Because I can't do what I know to do, because I am so preoccupied with trying to protect these beings, humanity, from themselves that have twisted upon the planet. They have started to disabuse themselves of the notion that they are themselves sovereign over this great celestial body.
Yes.
They're not in harmony anymore.
Yes. So I'd like for you now to tap into the consciousness of the planet. What does the planet tell you?
The planet Earth, she's communicating. She knows she's going to go into a shutdown soon. Within the next 10,000 years.
Yes.
And in that time, she is going to allow it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And for the same reasons that my celestial aspect knows this also.
Yes.
That it will be essential for the evolution of this planet, for it to continue its own life journey, that it will need to degenerate so as to experience ascension.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is allowing to a certain extent the beings on the surface and through even subterranean channels of the earth to do this to themselves. Although there are a contingent of beings here that we are connected to in this experience that will be salvaged. She's saying that I need to go and help them now.
Very good. So is she telling you this from the lifetime of the wars, or is it the present lifetime of Elise?
We are multidimensionally occurring all at once. It's simultaneous. Yes. We can see ourselves within the agarthic chambers of the inner earth. So we are actually speaking through to Gaia at the core at this time as we're relaying this information.
Very good. Can you explain how that is?
Oh, we just enter into the hollow earth expanse,
Yes.
and we're standing within the arc center, and essentially this is connected to all other arc centers on the surface of the planet, which are essentially stargates. So we are conveying this information through to the cosmic heart of source within the earth.
Very good. So let's focus on this pain that Elise feels that pretty much knocks her down. I want you to focus on that pain. What do you get from that pain?
Fire.
Yes.
I'm burning. I'm burning alive.
Tell me what you look like when you're burning alive.
I'm human.
Yes.
I'm just so angry.
Yes.
I'm just I think I'm coughing because of the smoke.
Yes, you are. Yes.
This is much later though. This is not the same memory.
Yes. So notice where you are when you're burning alive.
I'm on the edge of a forest, and there's a crowd around me.
Yes. Yes. What do they say to you?
Oh, they're all screaming random things, but I'm not paying attention. I'm just...
Yes.
I'm resigned.
Yes.
Because I know that this is just another notch in an eternal experience, but I'm still just really frustrated and disappointed.
I'm going to count from 1 to 3. And when I get to number 3, you're going to return to that lifetime as that woman before she was burned to find out where this all began. But this time I want you to experience everything profoundly. You're going to allow yourself to feel everything. 1, 2, and 3. Where does this all begin, if you knew?
They found the portal.
Tell me about that.
I'm meant to protect the gateway.
Yes. Are you the protector of the portal?
Yes. I'm old enough now.
Yes. How old do you have to be?
16 years of age.
Who was protecting this portal beforehand?
My grandmother.
Yes.
But it's time that I take up the mantle, because there's something wrong with this area of the earth.
Yes.
Geomagnetically, it needs stewardship. And in this particular area, the bloodline, the DNA that we hold, maintains the arc technology, because we need to protect those within the interdimensional kingdoms of Gaia.
Yes.
Beings that are earthly but also divine, they are the David kingdoms.
So the devas go through there?
The Devas, these are beings, earthly beings of light, but also involves leprechauns, small people, green people, Sasquatch, fae, fairies, animals, mythic beings also. These were all the beings from the Electric Wars as well. These were the ones that I had to help escape. Gaia tasked me with taking into interdimensional realms so that they will be sheltered. So that when humans cause the destruction, they wouldn't be affected as much.
Yes.
But unfortunately, it seems as if people have found the gateway whilst
Where
I
is
have
this?
been.
Yes, where is this gateway that you protect?
Avebury?
Mm-hmm.
England?
Okay.
Avebury?
Avebury, England. Yes.
Somewhere on the northwestern fringes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There, there's a place where most people cannot see it, find it. It is itself interdimensional, and it's only through explicit training that my family, actually none of my family know. It's my grandmother that knows.
She's taught you?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I have to monitor it.
Mm-hmm. And as you monitor it, are you helping all of those that are going through the gateway?
Oh, yes. They're basically all that I talk to.
Okay. So let's move forward and advance the moment in which this portal, this gateway, is discovered.
Someone followed me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a man.
Yes. Tell me more.
He's a family member.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
He's vindictive.
Yes. Look into his eyes. Have you seen those eyes before?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. What happens next? What happens when he discovers this?
He attacks me. He knows he needs the blood to access it.
Yes.
He doesn't want it for anything. He's just curious. But it's made him bitter.
Yes. How does he know that you need the blood for it?
It was my fault. I think I wrote something down.
Mm-hmm.
He knows that it has to do with the bloodline.
Yes.
It's not that you need the blood. There's no sacrifice. That's black magic.
Yes.
It doesn't require that. It's the body itself. The blood is the blood is ether. It's the fifth element. It's necessary to access the elemental kingdoms. It must be spiritualized and crystalline.
Yes.
So it is such that the bloodline through the women has been maintained as this through every second generation in order to ensure the security of the gateway. But he knows that if he spills my blood, it's the same. It's just a perversion, though.
Mm-hmm. So what happens next?
He physically attacks me.
Yes.
I'm 20 years of age.
How does he attack you?
He physically tries to overpower me. And he's choking me. He punches at my head to try and stop me from defending myself, which I can.
Yes.
And the Sasquatch taught me to fight. And I know how to incapacitate him by pressing on his neck, and I do so, but not before he's drawn blood.
Yes.
And then he sees the gateway. Because he's touching my blood. It's on his skin, and that's enough.
What does he do when he sees the gateway?
He spits on me, calls me a witch.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And he doesn't go through because one of my companions steps through, and there's 3 of them,
What are
and they're
these
guarding me.
What do they look like, these companions?
These are fey beings. They look elven. They're about 7 feet tall,
Uh-huh.
and their bodies are pale pastel colors.
Yes.
And they wear headdresses that look as if light is pouring off of them. And they're wearing long, filmy dresses.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is male, though, and he's holding a staff which has a crystal on top of it.
Yes.
And they've come from the inner channels of Gaia because they could feel the pain.
Yes.
They
What
actually
happened?
wipe his memory, but he's still physically harmed enough. And
Yes. Continue.
some years pass, and I have ostracized myself from the community.
Mm-hmm. How have you done that?
I just left.
Mm-hmm.
I went to live in the interdimensional realms, and I only came back to find supplies, food, because there's no food there.
Yes.
And there's no means of me to be in this human body. I cannot sustain myself otherwise.
Yes.
But someone followed me. It's not the same person.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There's 3 of them now.
Yes.
And they capture me.
Before you go through the gateway?
I'm coming back.
Okay.
And I, to them, appear to come out from thin air.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And because I've been staying so long, my skin is glowing. My whole being is glowing with energy.
Yes.
As if like my skin is radiating with etheric energy.
Yes.
And they're terrified.
Mm-hmm. What do they do next?
One of them puts an arrow through my shoulder, and they tie my legs and drag me back to the township.
Yes.
And
What
I'm put on
happens?
trial.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a joke to me because I know that there is more to this realm, more to this world, more to this dimension.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what they do to my body.
Yes.
But I actually don't care. I only care about protecting the gateway.
Yes.
That's why I'm sad. Because I haven't had children.
Yes.
And it will stop with me.
Mm-hmm. So what happens?
They provoke me. They try to make me show that I can make my skin glow again. But I don't speak. I don't say anything.
Yes.
I just stare. And they start to accuse me of witchcraft because I have been able to harness etheric energy to manipulate or to use energy. I can make elemental... Okay, so I can use elemental energy to create fire,
Mm-hmm.
procure water, create life from the earth, and also affect the weather.
Mm-hmm.
And I purposely make it rain
Mm-hmm.
the morning that they intend to burn me, and so they can't actually execute me for a few times because it's raining so hard that the fire doesn't take.
What happens next?
I'm too tired. I'm just tired. That's when they torture me.
Mm-hmm.
They make me bleed.
Notice where it is that they have cut you.
Wherever my skin is exposed.
Yes.
They're too scared to touch me, so they refuse to remove my clothing. And so they cut me all over my head, my arms,
Yes.
my skin.
Yes. And what does your skin feel when you're being cut?
It's just intensely painful.
Mm-hmm.
It feels raw.
Yes.
Like I am already being burned alive.
Yes. Continue. What happens next?
My life force is drained simply because the blood is being shed.
Yes.
And I'm slightly unconscious. I'm losing consciousness.
Yes.
And that's when they tie me up. And I don't have the energy. But there's lightning and there's a storm all the same.
Yes.
And I can feel my family from the earthly kingdoms. They're all here. They're all watching, and that's why I'm not scared.
Yes. And as this body is dying, notice how it is that you're now breathing and how your organs are working.
Each one starts to fail.
Yes.
My kidneys are shutting down. My lungs are being completely suffused with the smoke.
Yes.
I lose consciousness within a minute.
And what is the last thing that this brain thinks before you lose consciousness?
I'm free.
Mm-hmm. And where is your soul when all of this is happening?
With the Elvan, I'm standing with them watching my body burn.
Mm-hmm.
And they're telling me it's time for me to end the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
The line needs to end because the portal needs to be forgotten. The gateway will always remain closed until the time is right for them to return to Gaia as the sovereigns.
Very good. And now you're going to speak with the soul of this woman and tell her whatever it is that you need to tell her. What do you need to tell her?
Everything came full circle in the end.
Yes.
Because it wasn't that the gateway needed to be protected. It was that the bloodline needed to be protected.
Yes.
The Davic beings were protecting us, not the other way round.
Mm-hmm.
And that the gateways will always be there. Just because they are not stewarded does not mean that they no longer exist.
Very good. So with that knowledge now, I'm going to count from 1 to 3. And I want you to go ahead and tell all of those people who cut your body, who burned your body, the family member that hit you. I want you to line them up. And I want you to tell them whatever it is that you need to tell them without holding anything back. You can insult them. You can tell them, this is what happened. 1, 2, and 3. Tell them what you need to tell them now.
They played a part. And they were just a puzzle piece in a greater framework. I don't envy them, and I neither judge them. There's no pity. I love them regardless because they showed the truth that humans have done this to themselves. And they do this to themselves still. How they choose to treat their body. How they choose to treat themselves. Emotionally and mentally. It's their determination. And by inflicting pain on others, they simply exacerbate that pattern.
Mm-hmm.
They perpetuate it. Same as any being.
Yes. So now I want you to go ahead and demand from them to give you all of the energy back that they took from you in that lifetime when they tried to take from you what you had. Go ahead and tell them that you demand to give you back all of the energy they stole from you.
I decree all my energy return to me now.
Very good. Open your arms and receive it. Breathe it in. And as you're taking back the energy, notice the eyes of those that are in front of you. Look at how those eyes are, how the look in those eyes are. Where else have you seen those type of eyes?
There have often been opposition within family settings. But also, I've seen these beings. Some of them are not human.
Mm-hmm.
Their souls are not connected to source.
Yes.
They're not from this universe. Some of them are puppeting the bodies purposely to access the intelligence, the wisdom through the blood. They need the DNA, and they've been trying to access different forms of energy, same as what they sought to do on other planets also.
Mm-hmm. And notice if you have taken on any of their energy.
No, but they've planted something within my etheric field.
Find that now.
Oh, it's behind my head.
Very good. So I want you to go ahead and begin to access that which was planted behind your head.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me what that is.
It's a negative technology.
Very good. Do you need that negative technology any longer?
No.
No. So I'd like for you to go ahead and begin to pull that technology out, and you can demand that those that implanted it to take it, to remove it from you. Yes.
It's collapsed and gone now.
Very good. Very good. And now that it's gone, I want you to just declare that you are a sovereign being, that you do not allow this to be done to you any longer, that you disconnect your energy from all of those influences. Do it in a way which is unique to you.
am God Source. I am sovereign and I am free.
Very good. And now that you are free, you're going to take that soul from that woman who was burnt and take her away into the light now, knowing that with the death of that body, you're conscious that that body died. And at that death, all of the experience that that body had has finished now. Nothing belongs to you. Knowing that you can now release all of the tension, all of the rejection, all of the resistance from that lifetime. Taking all of your energy and taking it to the light. And tell me when you are in the light.
Yes.
Very good. Now that you're in the light, begin to absorb the energy of the light. And as you connect with the higher version of this soul, looking at the experiences now that are going through the life of Elise, what she's going through. I want you to just tell me what connection she has now with those migraines.
Yes, but she needs to go to the toilet.
Very good. So I'm going to count from 1 to 3. When I get to number 3, you'll open your eyes, use the toilet. Don't look in the mirror. And when you come back, you'll go even deeper to find the answers. 1, 2, and 3. Eyes open. And just take a deep breath in, allowing yourself to now be absorbed into that bed, going deeper and deeper with each breath. As I count from 1 to 3, when I get to number 3, you will go to the next experience that your soul needs to work on. Doesn't matter what it is or where. 1, 2, and 3. Where are you?
Next to a lake.
Next to a lake, yes.
The shore is filled with wildflowers. And I'm just sitting, staring out over the water.
Yes.
There's there's like a yeti creature sitting next to me.
Describe this yeti creature.
Oh, he says Sasquatch, sorry.
A Sasquatch, very good. And just turn your head towards the microphone a little bit so I can hear you. Very good. Yes. Tell me more.
Yeah, he corrected me saying the yeti are from the mountains. I'm not from the mountains.
Yes. And what does the Sasquatch look like?
He's about 7.5 foot tall, but because he's crouched next to me,
Yes.
he's only about 4 feet sitting.
Yes.
And his fur, so his coat, he's correcting me. His coat is a grey white with some areas that have darker colouring.
And do the Sasquatch turn gray when they are older, like humans?
He said some species, not all. Some turn white.
Very good. So what is his age range?
He's about 33.
And why is he there with you? What message does he have for you?
He said this is a projection of a memory that we share. This
Yes.
is the same lifetime as the woman
Yes.
that was burned.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a companion to me when I had to be separated from my family. His family actually welcomed me to live with them so that I would have a home. He's like a brother.
Very good. Does he have a name?
It's very difficult to pronounce. Brolon.
Brolon. Very good. And what does he call you?
He calls me mother,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not. It sounds like madre, but it's Maeve. It's Maeve.
Maeve. Mm-hmm. Yes.
He calls me mother because I teach the young ones
Mm-hmm. What is it that you teach?
about the universe.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I bring wisdom from many universes to them because they are cut off from. They have to be sheltered
Yes. For what purpose?
for their protection.
Why
And
is it?
also they can't
Yes.
exist dimensionally
Mm.
on third dimensional Earth, so they have to be sheltered within this dimensional expanse.
Yes. And is there a certain dimension that they live on?
Many of the beings, the elemental beings, exist the first dimension.
Mm-hmm.
The second dimension hosts most of the Davic kingdom, but
Mm.
they are all able to oscillate through to the sixth dimension. Some of the Elvan can go to the seventh, but not all of them have that capacity anymore as a result of what occurred
Yes.
on Earth.
Very good. So I'd like for you to advance to a moment in which you are teaching.
They're all different species here.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are fairies.
Yes.
Some of them are. They're all over my body.
Mm-hmm.
But there are also animals here,
Yes.
and it feels as if many of them don't really understand what I'm saying, but they understand the energy,
Yes.
and so they're really there to receive the energy, so that they themselves can not necessarily learn anything new, but they can maintain their knowledge because they're at risk of forgetting,
Yes. How
like
is
the
it?
humans have forgotten.
Mm-hmm. And how do you represent yourself when you are there teaching? Look at yourself there.
I'm just dressed similar to them. The Fae have dressed me.
Mm-hmm.
My hair is very long,
Mm-hmm.
and they've robed me in different kinds of material.
Mm.
But I do have. Oh, okay. So I see that in this dimensional realm, something. In this dimensional realm, my body doesn't really look the same as human.
Mm.
It's as if being in this multi-dimensional realm that I become more non-physical,
Mm. Yes.
but I still look human.
Very good. Yes. Follow that cough. What's causing that cough? Yes. What is that? If you knew, what's the origin of that cough?
There is a thread tied to my throat.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I'm observing its trajectory.
Yes.
This
Where
is
is it going?
It's going to another memory.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm arguing.
Yes.
I'm arguing with the beings here.
Yeah.
There's like a group that oversee this particular area of the earth and the interdimensional realms here.
Yes.
They're all uncomfortable with my staying. They're starting to become mistrustful of me
Yes.
because I am teaching the little ones about humanity,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't want them to get any ideas about leaving.
Yes.
And the reason why I'm coughing is because I'm tied up with my words.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose I'm just frustrated the same as I was with the others. The humans, they're not listening.
Yes.
It's not about us and them. We are all one. I'm trying to teach the little ones this. That simply because our past has occurred to create separation between these realms does not mean that they're permanent. Eventually, we'll all have to reunite.
Mm-hmm.
We'll all have to create a synthesis of dimensionality so that we can all harmonically share consciousness together again, as we used to. They're
Yes.
traumatized by what happened tens of thousands of years ago because they were there when they needed to take refuge in the subterranean realms and tunnels of Gaia.
Yes.
And they didn't want to. And even then, they could see that it would degenerate them as it would degenerate the humans. And they are somewhat blaming me and projecting onto me because of this.
So notice what that thread is. Notice where it's connected.
To the back of my throat.
Mm-hmm. Follow that thread. Follow it. Where is it connected to?
They try to alter my consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
They make me swallow something.
Yes.
They say that in order for me to remain, I need to forget about humanity.
Yes. And what happens when you remember about humanity?
It doesn't work. I swallow it because I don't want to leave.
Yes.
I choose to take this concoction, but it doesn't work. They realize that my consciousness is connected beyond the third dimension, and so therefore I cannot forget because my connection to humanity is not constrained to the dimensional realm of which at that time humanity is operating through.
Very good. So now we're going to make a decision. Do you want to continue with that thread?
No.
No. So I'd like for you to go ahead and declare them exactly how you feel about this thread.
I no longer want to be tied to that restricting view of the world.
Yes. So I'd like for you to go ahead and cut that string now. Cut it. What happens when you cut that?
I can feel all the elements now.
Mm-hmm.
Before it was jagged.
Yes.
It was one or two. Now it's all of them at once.
Very good. And by holding you back, notice if you took on any of their energy. Did they?
No.
Very good. Did they take away any of your energy?
I didn't let them.
Very good. And now you're going to select a color to represent healing for that throat, for your chest, for everything that was affected. What color would you like to choose?
Platinum white.
Beautiful. I'm going to sound a tuning fork, and I want you to go ahead and put that platinum white into that space. And allow the healing, using your power and the vibration to heal. Very good. Taking a breath now without the string, without the connection. Opening up now to all of the information that could flow through. And notice how this now is connected to the lifetime of Elise. How this has freed her now. Overlay both lifetimes together. Yes, what do you notice?
She's always about the work.
Yes.
It's exertion to the point of exhaustion.
Mm-hmm. So how can she do the work without exhausting this physical body?
Connecting with nature
Mm-hmm.
regularly as she's been doing, but also not doing more than is necessary.
Yes.
Simplifying.
Mm-hmm.
The information that she provides is the same.
Yes.
It doesn't need to be extrapolated and embellished as it has been in the past.
Mm-hmm.
It can be simpler. It can be refined.
So when she has some information to give somebody, she can pick a video or a podcast or a writing with information and provide it, for example.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
She's been writing a lot. It's natural for her to write.
Yes.
It's the easiest for her to write sometimes when she's trying to speak the information.
Yes.
It's kept from its fullness as she expresses it verbally because she can feel the resistance in others pushing back, not wanting the information, but also wanting it for the sake of knowing. Not for the sake of healing, but for the sake of knowing.
Yes.
But she doesn't necessarily need to write. She can speak it. She
Very
can
good.
convey it now more clearly with her voice, which has been reconfigured in the last 6 months for this purpose.
Mm-hmm. And these migraines that she's been experiencing, is this from these memories?
This was the last thread
Mm-hmm.
to the energetic cause of these migraines, yes.
Very
This
good.
memory was deeper.
Very good. So now that we understand what the resistance was and the cords and the threads that were keeping her from doing her work, I want you to go back to the core mission that she has as a soul, as the soul that she is, that goes to each planet. What is the purpose for her to be here on this planet Earth at this time?
She is a creative She is a creator incarnate. She was designated to this universe from dimensions beyond this universe to support the evolution of this particular cosmic fabric that situates within that this Earth, this solar system, this galaxy situates within. And so her purpose being on the solar system harks back to its creation, because at its insemination and consecration as a stabilizing point within this galaxy, it was constructed to support many of these souls that were refugees out from many planetary cataclysms, even metagalactic cataclysms. So essentially, her purpose being here was to create and also to be a guardian, as the original founders came here to be guardians, to oversee the rehabilitation and also the evolution of humanity, not just within Earth, through Earth, but also through all the cosmos, for the impacts that have been imposed and also caused devastation through to this collective consciousness of human beings, which at this time is being reclaimed into its original state.
Very good. And there are others here from her team? Or just her?
In terms of the council that she is a delegate within, of that particular council, she is the only physical incarnate at this time. But there are others that she has been connected to through other council groups that also serve in the same capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Each of these groups, whether they were here at the commencement of the solar system or not, are here now to ensure that collectively as humanity, we have the opportunity to emancipate ourselves and to become, as this Earth is now becoming, a planet for rehabilitation and also liberation.
Mm-hmm. Very good. And from your position, from seeing it on a whole, how is the planet doing?
We are ahead of schedule.
Mm-hmm.
This is where certain beings, such as herself, are present here now. The guardians and gatekeepers, and also by extension, planetary grid workers, have been doing this work for thousands of years.
Yes.
And therefore their presence now as physical incarnates, as she is to ensure that it is all stable. It's not necessarily to facilitate the process.
Mm-hmm.
It's to ensure that everything evolves in divine timing for this, not just collective consciousness of humanity, but for the entire Milky Way galaxy, so that we can also correspond cosmically as citizens that are free, intergalactic, and trans-universal also, because we are here to no longer operate within the constraints of a single planetary expanse, but to convene with beings from beyond the solar system now. Hence why many of the younger souls are coming through, because they are to be that bridge also, as she is also.
Very good. So this session that we're having now with Elise, will this complete the cycle of her healing so that she can move on with her work?
Yes, this was ordained to be so that she can more publicly make herself present despite her resistance to do this.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So is there anything any message that you have from any of the beings or her higher self that would be important for anyone to know?
Where you focus your energy is where your energy will go. There are a lot of consciousness traps at this time. Particular technologies are being forcibly utilized in the same way that have been done for many tens of thousands of years on this planet. There are means for people to become very entangled and enmeshed in that which is false, that which is inverted, and that which is glamorized within the spiritual frameworks that are operating here as a means and basis for people to awaken. She sees this with the work that she does, in that many souls are entrapped within dimensional spectrums that are inverted and suffering distortion. And their consciousness is so seriously entangled in their unconscious state that there is confusion around whether or not what they're experiencing is even real. Assuredly, people's experiences physically are real, but in terms of their consciousness and the way that their consciousness is evolving now, we are multi-dimensional. And we are at threat, more often than not, at certain means for our consciousness to be insinuated upon. This includes DNA. And the DNA is the key to remembering and to liberation, because each soul has its distinct blueprint and instruction sets for liberation within their DNA. If there is distortion at the deepest molecular level, and this is enmeshed in astral traps, consciousness enmeshment, then they will go in loops. And they will be looking outward for solutions when the truth is inward is the solution. Meditation is key. Healing through hypnosis, through facilitators that are pure in themselves is key. Energy healing and energy work in what she provides is also supportive and key. And each of these keys open doorways to consciousness expansion. The ascension is going beyond now, and the old cycle, which concluded at the beginning of April of this year, is now stimulating an acceleration into new gateways for us to restore consciousness on levels of which, as humanity, we have not accessed for the approximation of about 24,000 years. The period of which she was shown where Earth went through the electric wars, which was at that time Hyperborea. In that experience, humans were dimensionally not far different than where they are now. Indeed, their consciousness evolved into psionic abilities, telepathy, and other ways of communicating into the phase such as Atlantis that came about afterwards. But at this time, our consciousness is not much different to that period of cataclysm and therefore most are experiencing the same fears. These fears are not to remain as a permanency within their experience until they resolve their unconscious to integrate their soul fragments that were trapped there, in the same way that it can be trapped in a past lifetime. Therefore, why energy healing, hypnosis, and other means of reconciliation of energy and the soul are necessitated so that they can free themselves. Because no one can free you than yourself. Which is why to focus outwardly at this time on weaponized narratives is in itself a consciousness trap. And many are at risk of going down the same sinkhole. If they do, they can, in the same way, circle back into unity. But to practice unity consciousness now requires an inner harmony with Gaia that the Devic beings, of which are those that she was remembering to connect to today, may assist all through, because they have maintained that wisdom. To be one with nature is in itself the baseline structure upon this earth in which to experience unity consciousness. And for those that do not follow that path, they will go on to a different planet now to resolve that experience for their soul. Earth will no longer provide this service to others. Gaia is now a planet of liberation in her ascended form, in her crystal architecture, of which is now fully operative, with the reclamation of some of the beings here that she is also. They are now holding the gateways for beings of great light to now coexist here, so that we can evolve into cosmic citizens.
Mm-hmm. Will some of these other beings be showing themselves soon?
Very soon.
Very good.
They are already here, and in some cases, when they are shown, for the same reasons that we are expressing, that people are not paying mind or heart to their own journey and their own evolution as a soul, but rather staying within distractions, within misconceptions, and with the glamorization of spiritual dialogues, frameworks, which are throwing people off course at this time. They won't notice when these beings actually are here more prominently.
Yes. Many people are telling me that they're seeing movements in their homes, shadows, things that are just on the edge of their eyes focus. Is that what we're seeing? Other dimensional beings?
In 2017, because Earth was in a quarantine up until that point, some of the morphogenic frameworks that ensured that those kinds of beings that you're referring to were invisible to most people.
Okay.
The reason why most are becoming aware of those sorts of energies now is because the planetary architecture has shifted again. And it's actually activating people's light body infrastructure so that they are able to perceive these within the chakra complexes, within the head area. That's allowing them to perceive. There's an etheric peripheral that we use within the human energy system that is a 360 perception that goes below the feet as well as around the head.
Yes.
And this is actually activating for a lot of souls at this time automatically as a result of some of the changes within the morphogenic fields. And so there's in fact about 21% of human beings at this time are having this activate, which will destabilize many who are not actually awake and will cause a lot of, in some cases, people feeling as if they are going crazy or insane and seeing things that they think is dark, but is actually, it's just energy material. It's not always negative. It can be, which negative we mean. Dimensionally, it's orienting within more negative thresholds of frequency. But these, the shadow beings, a lot of them are being evacuated now by those that do grid work, because a lot of them are soul fragments. They're not actually negative. They're just people are seeing their own soul fragments in their homes. And that's a kind of remembering, of acknowledgement, to realize that they are more than just a physical body, that their home is an extension of their energetic field, and to take responsibility for their energetic health, which is their physical health, one and the same, is also to take responsibility for the health and condition of their home also in this regard.
Very good. Very good. Is there anything else that you would like to express today, or do you feel that we are complete?
We are complete, thank you.
Very good. Your eyes 5 wide awake, completely alert, feeling wonderful all over. Welcome back.
Hello.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, wow.
Did
I
you
might
expect?
sit up.
Yeah.
That's
Did you
okay, Alba.
expect? Yeah, sit up. Did you expect that? That was a little different, huh?
It was actually quite different, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just move this. Okay. Ooh.
Turn on my light so I could see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you, I hope the sound was okay. Yeah, no, that was really different. In a good way. I didn't realize that I was going to be having so many memories, though.
Oh, it was amazing. How long do you think it was? Do you think it was short this time, or
it felt shorter?
shorter? Like how long?
Maybe an hour?
Can you see?
Oh my goodness. That was not expected. No, that didn't feel that way at all this time. Not at all.
A lot of information.
Yeah. It's interesting because the last time the energy was like I was being held down. I mean, I was in a lot of pain last time, but the energy was being held down. This time I felt like I was going to float off the bed. Felt like I wasn't actually I was grounded, but I felt like I was going to lift off the bed and just kind of like float away. So it was, the energetic resonance was distinct from last. Maybe that had something to do with the time. Yeah.
Well, you've progressed forward. I have too. So each time you do a session, and as the time progresses, you're going to come out with new stuff. That was pretty intense.
The memories were quite intense.
Yeah.
There's a certain level of my human that was going, I don't want to be here right now, because obviously
it's painful.
It was quite painful. The coughing was the worst part. I apologize, because
that's
it was
part of it.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Part of the therapy.
Yeah.
Your body will bring out exactly what it needs to heal.
But I'd never. It was like there was an implant, but it was like the thread was tied around my esophagus and squeezing, like the finest fishing line thread. That's what it felt like. And so as soon as it started to tighten, I was like, I can't even talk now. It feels like it was suffocating.
And now?
Oh, it's gone for sure, for gone. And I hadn't felt it before that point, which shows the beauty of this work, which is like your soul and aspects of you will not allow you to feel that until it's time to be released, because
Exactly.
it can really make you feel as if you're choking. But yeah.
That's it. That's it. So that gateway was amazing.
Yeah, I want to paint it now.
You should.
I probably will paint it because it was quite like something out of a fairy tale. And yeah.
And now
And it's
we can
yeah,
see where all
sorry.
the fairy tale comes from.
Yeah, absolutely. It really does feel as if some people, and I think a lot of, I mean, all truth is in fiction. I mean, I'm of the mind that that's the case, but in terms of some of the beings that do exist here, and as Elise, when I do grid work, I'm working with them all the time. It's just natural. But in terms of the history or the his history, it's just never even conceived that to be the case,
Wow.
because I have had visions of a portal to these kingdoms, but I just assumed it was something, yes, like out of a memory that I'm not able to fully recollect, but actually the detail,
Wow.
because the portal looks like something very much out of, you would imagine to be in a fairy tale. It doesn't,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, literally beings that just walk through that look like they've come out of a storybook. Yeah, it was very fascinating because, like in these experiences, you feel like you're there again.
Yes.
And so an element of me is in wonder, but then another element's going, yeah, just I remember that.
Been there,
But
done that.
been
Yeah.
there, done that. A little bit, yeah. A little bit.
Good. So do you want to share this, Elise?
Yes. I don't think there was anything personal in the end. Yeah.
So do you want to tell people where you are and what you do?
Yeah, well, I'm currently located in Australia, but I work online predominantly at this time,
Yes.
working as an energy worker. And I mean, for most people, for them to understand how I express that is I'm a psychic medium, really.
Mhm.
But I predominantly specialize in energy healing and planetary grid work. So, in the midst of that, I travel and do planetary grid work as well, which I've been doing for a long time now.
Wow.
And yeah, in that work I do is that I work privately with people, and now recently started teaching,
Yeah.
because people are asking for the means of which to help themselves again. You know, it has to do
Yes.
more with, as Elise, I feel that that's sort of what arose at the end is, you know, you can't rely on other people at this time. Unity consciousness comes from an inner unity and harmony. And so to restore that, because it's not something that we fix, it's just to reclaim and restore it, like you reclaim energy in this, what we're doing now,
Yes.
is sometimes you do need support. Like I need this support, you know, so
Yes.
that I can evolve in my work.
Absolutely.
And doing it full time now it's really a joy. So yeah,
How do people get a hold of you? Do you have a website or a way to?
yes, I have a website. So the website is goddesstruthalchemy.com. And in order to book through with me, it's all facilitated via email. You just submit there's a submission form on the website, and then you let me know what you would like to book for. Everything's on the website. And then,
Wonderful.
yeah, and I'm not that far booked in advance, but if people want to connect, they just
That's
go
great.
via there.
And just let everybody know that we are doing this session for Eastern time. For me, this is the evening. So if you are in the US, you would have to be doing the session with Elise
in the evening because it's morning for her now.
Yep.
So thank you, Elise, very much for this. It was a beautiful session, and
Thank
I think
you, Alba.
we'll enjoy it very much. So much love to everybody. Thank you for watching. Until the next one. Bye-bye.